Hi everyone, welcome to a bumper episode of our Footy Fantasy Pod. Of course, this is the big one. It was the top of the table clash we just ended. Before we jump into it, because I always forget every time, I have to do quick admin. I'll tell you where you can find us. We are on Instagram, Fantasy Footy. This pod will be on YouTube, the full version at Footy Fantasy. You can find us anywhere you get your podcast, the Footy Fantasy Podcast. Facebook, Extraordinary Footy Fans, anywhere you get your podcast, get content on Twitter, Footy 80 Fantasy. Turn on your notifications, subscribe. Let's jump in. Bola, Liverpool fan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Chuky from the Daily Manc. Check out the Daily Manc also. He's active on Twitter. Posting his Ole propagandas as always. The Ole's biggest fan. Chuky, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for the invite. Always glad to be here.
Okay. I think we'll start with the host team. Tell us your thoughts about the game around. Why was this a stalemate? 0-0 draw. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about if there's a title race. Obviously, they'll do our weekly award. So let's start with that first. Bola.
Disappointed.
Okay.
Very disappointed, upset. We needed to win this game. As against Manchester United, our biggest rival. We didn't even lose the last couple of games. We've drawn or dropped too many points recently, and you could see our position in the table slightly falling, and you see people like Manchester City now catching up with us. And it's a problem, and we need to fix some of these issues that we're dealing with. Now, specific to the game, I thought you could see the Liverpool identity on the game. We're definitely the most dominant team. We definitely controlled the game. But like we've been saying the last couple of weeks, man, the finishing in the last third has been non-existent. And we need to fix that. We need to change that. We need to change something to make it work in our favor. Too many teams are now, I don't want to say parking the bus per se, but are definitely using the low block. And, it's frustrating our striking through. It's frustrating our strikers. It's almost like we're doing the old school Arsenal thing where we're playing tiki-taka in the box. So it's like someone needs to just be dominant and put a shot on De Gea. Let's put some pressure on the players and see what happens after that. I don't believe in making excuses. Excuses are tools of the incompetent, but definitely everything that's been happening is having an effect. And I can't wait for some of our injured players to come back to definitely free up our midfielders. We're playing with I've coined a term, we're playing with a false 4 and a false 5. and it's definitely impacting what we're doing further up the field. So, that's kind of my synopsis of the game. I thought we were in control. I thought Maguire and was it Lindelof? I thought they played really well. Okay. I thought Manchester United were dangerous on the counter. We definitely had to take the threat of the counterattack seriously. Manchester United had a really good shape as well. I think some of that Mourinho lineage is still rubbing off on Man United. And I say that in a good way, right? Like, I think shape is so important. And the better you have a shape, the harder it is to break down. But I just felt disappointed.
So much. Any opportunity for praise. Like, come on, bro. This man has been going for like 2.5 years.
Hey, if you frustrate me, I give you respect, and the man definitely frustrated me being Manchester United or Chelsea, so.
Okay.
But, I just felt that we could have done better. I felt we could have done better. We could have been more clinical. We could have put more pressure on De Gea.
Who was your man of the match? If you have to choose
man
one.
of the match,
you can do one for the overall match, and who was the best player for Liverpool for in your opinion? So do one.
The best player for Manchester United was Maguire. Maguire had the best performance for Manchester United. For Liverpool, I thought Thiago was fantastic. Actually, I really enjoyed watching Thiago, but I think just because of like the situation we're in, I love what Fabinho is doing right now, and I have to give him some props for that. So, but I think Maguire was the man of the match overall.
Okay. Chuky, over to you.
I mean, it was a tactical game. It was great to watch. It's always interesting to hear people qualify matches, and they you use terms like in control and dominance. Muhammad Ali, when he went into the ring, he he usually had a plan, and you see like the opponent will have him on the ropes, and it's easy for the unaware person to look at what's going on in the local time it's happening. I think that the opponent is in control and dominating. When someone has a plan and that plan, the game goes exactly the way they devised, the person that devised it is the person that's in control. Manchester United was in control of this entire game, the entire time.
Tell us why.
They did everything they set out to do. They came in with a low block. I was very concerned they were going to go with the medium blocks. I was concerned with that Lindelof Maguire axis. I was very, very concerned when I saw Lindelof being brought back in the squad, because just generally that's United's posture. But they went for a sunken low block, and Liverpool, yes, they were outside the box, weaving and passing and crossing and doing all that, but they didn't create any real chance of note that was basically under their control. United had the bigger chances. They had the clearer chance. They had the more quality chances. On a sharper day, this Liverpool is losing for the first time in how many days, how many months, how many years. If Pogba was a little bit more clinical, if Bruno was a little bit more clinical, their chances were not, they were very high percentage chances that you think players of the quality will put away. So Klopp came in and did what Klopp needed to do, but all these boys basically control. You can see they were never, they never got out of, they came in as an actor and they never got out of character. The issue between both teams are just their strike force. Liverpool struggling to score goals. United's, I would say their strikers are out of form. Martial, even Rashford, even though Rashford's been scoring goals, something's going up a little bit with Rashford. He's played almost, I think, every game of the EPL, so it might be some fatigue going on in there.
Yeah.
I think Solskjaer will be wondering how they didn't score one or two goals, and I think it will feel like an opportunity missed and an opportunity to make a statement. Because who we should really be worried about is City, who should be favorites for this title.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a man of the match?
Man of the match for me is for United. I agree with Maguire, and I think that's par for course because United was mostly in the low block, mostly satisfied with staying in that sunken place. Maguire's ability to stand the fray, organize his defense. He was. You don't normally see that great positional discipline from Maguire. You saw wonderful discipline from him today, as far as snuffing out danger, interceptions, and just he was real good today. For Liverpool, I'll say it's their goalkeeper. Thiago was great. I loved, especially when you contrast him with Fred or even Bruno today. Thiago is he oozed class, but the person you give man of the match for Liverpool is the person that got them off that field without the loss, and that's their goalkeeper, Alisson.
That's true. Those saves against Pogba and who was it again? Bruno.
Yeah.
I agree. My own thoughts about the game. I feel like the first 20 minutes, for overall, yes, it was a good defensive performance by United. It was really good. The first 20 minutes, I felt like we were really, really deep though, and we could have considered that 20 minutes. Like on different, I've seen that type of game a lot of times in the past in Anfield where we are that deep. Those deflections that were going. I think there was one from Shaqiri. If that deflection on a different day, that deflection goes in, changes the game, blows it open, it makes it a different game entirely. But yeah, I agree. Above all, for the next 70 minutes, yeah, Liverpool were blunt and we controlled everything. like to the T. The counterattacks, everything. If Thiago was a more direct player, maybe you guys would have scored. I think. What I mean? Like there were times like he broke, into the box or right in front of the box. But Thiago is not that guy. He's not a direct. His shooting is not great, right? He's not a shooter. If it was a great shooter,
De Bruyne or something.
correct. It was like De Bruyne. I think you guys understand because there was space. He was creating space for himself, in my opinion. We created the better chances. Those two chances, obviously, good saves by Alisson overall. And yeah, I mean, I think Liverpool you guys are struggling. Do you think do you think it's bad form? But let me ask you, Bola, from the outside looking in, right? This is the first time. I think this is the first time Klopp's team hasn't scored, even since he has arrived. 3 games, Premier League games in a row, no goals. So apart from the no goals thing, because I know that eventually, right, you guys have a very, very good attack. You revert back to the mean. It happens. That like Liverpool will find that. But my question, do you think it's just bad form, or you think teams are figuring out that, okay, with Liverpool, the creativity comes from the wing, you make sure you block out the width and all that. Because that's why he brought Thiago. I remember Klopp saying that beginning of the season, like he knows that teams are going to adapt to their whole thing. And that's why he brought Thiago, so they can go down the middle. But what do you think is the problem? Because even against Castle and I think West Brom, I saw you guys miss like clear chances. I was like, is this Salah? Is this Mane? So what do you think?
I think there's some issues going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I don't think I disagree. Like going back, if you don't mind, if I can counter some of the points.
No, yeah. That's it.
I definitely disagree with the fact that Manchester United had control of the game. Absolutely not. Like you guys had a flurry in the mid 77th minute, and there was a flurry towards the 83rd minute ish when Pogba had his chance, when Bruno Fernandes had his chance. I thought Bruno's chance was probably the better chance of the two. Looking at the Pogba chance, Fabinho was right there. The shot was directly at Alisson, and I think there was like an offside that was being called at the same time or something like that afterwards, of all these late flags, which I actually really thought was terrible. And that's a different story for a different issue. But I truly felt that I don't believe that this was no Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope situation. I completely disagree with that. But the Liverpool front three have been a little bit blunt. And again, I don't want to wallow in excuses and why this and why that, but looking at the way how we played football before, with Virgil van Dijk missing, what it does, and I'm not trying to make an excuse because defensively we've been solid, but why have we been solid? We've been solid because we're not playing the same way we usually play. When we have Virgil and when we have Gomez, those boys are pushing up all the way, almost playing in the opposition's half. So we're really squeezing the opposition team directly, forcing them into the box. With slower players, Fabinho's playing fantastic, but whoever we partner with him, be it another midfield player or the two youngsters, definitely not as pacey. Definitely we can't put as much of a high line as what we typically play. And I think that's having an impact on the rest of the team. The other teams have the ability to defend deep, and then when they release the ball, they have time to like reset again. And I actually heard someone actually make a similar comment on the commentary, and I was like, man, I've been saying this for a long time, although it drove me crazy because it's scary playing that high line all the time. It really affected the way how we played. Yep. Also, Jota being missing.
That is key, I think. Also.
That is key. And there might be something there, I don't want to, get into, conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But, I think there's something maybe going on behind the scenes.
Like what? Salah's contract thing? Is that what you're talking about?
The Salah contract thing, the Gini Wijnaldum leaving,
that's true.
And again, that's not the reason why what happened is happening today. But there may just need to be a refreshing of the team. I just don't feel like our strikers are playing together as well as what they used to. We're now all going for individual glory as opposed to, the cohesion that we used to see us play with. And I don't know if people are looking for bigger contracts or looking for move elsewhere, but we just don't seem, there's no hunger like, we haven't won the league in 30 years or, we're about to win the Champions League. And, maybe it's time for a refresh. I don't know.
I mean, if I don't know if I can do an adjoinder there. I mean, I think the same thing. Alien Liverpool, and they've gone several seasons deep. They've had like at least 3 or 4 deep seasons where they've been playing deep into the season. So there's still human beings there. There's human physiology that you have to kind of compensate for. I mean, it's a cycle, and you're in the EPL as well. You're not like in Bundesliga or Italian league where you have a subservient opposition. So, but the same thing as Alien Liverpool is probably the same thing that's on it's snuck its way into Manchester United, which is very curious to me, especially when it comes to that Rashford Martial connection. It's like zero now. Like you can tell they don't look for each other when it's time to pass. They make bad decisions. They're looking for glory. Quite last season when they were tit for tat, even though they were, it's good, healthy. You want your strikers to have a little bet between them.
Yeah.
That's how you get goal production, because all of them would be working at their apex level just to just to show up the other. But you also want that cooperation. That cooperation is not happening at United at all, and I'm kind of disappointed in Rashford's game today is probably one of his worst games he's played this season. But Rope-a-Dope, look, it is what it is. The Rope-a-Dope is a fighter picking their chances and conserving energy, to deliver a dead blow. And that's exactly what United did, and they did it to look. Perspiration and possession football, LVG, club football, that whether you have the ball is what you do with it. What happened today is that Liverpool did not have the same shot on targets as United. I think it was it like total shots 17 to 8 shots. United had half their shots on target. That's 50%, right? They have 4 shots on target. What I think what might be deceiving your eyes is Liverpool were better passers on the day. Really good. Everyone on the Liverpool team can pass, especially their fullbacks, right? So that kind of makes it look like, oh my God, they're completing all these nifty passes, but they were really not doing anything with those passes. I haven't even looked into the big chances, but I would say United obviously have way more had more big chances than Liverpool. And if you look at all the stats hubs that like look into the game analytics and rate the teams, most of them will have United on top. Like for say who scored is a very popular one. They have Liverpool has 6.8 and United has 6.9. I think that's fair enough. Oh well.
Okay. Interesting thoughts. Now let's just segue into the title race. Bola, thoughts about title race? 2-way horse, 3-way horse, it could still change up because Richard, this is one of the title races that when you look at it, right? 2 draws, 3 draws by anybody, like somebody else is led back into the title race. So it's like we're not in the halfway point. Although in January it feels like, oh, we're deep. This is our December. Let's just, if you want, this is like early December. So it's like we're not even in January, but it feels like there's a title race on. Like, what are your thoughts about the title race?
Manchester City right now are favorites to win it all. I think there's a couple of teams in this race.
Okay.
I think Manchester City are favorites. Liverpool are there. Manchester United are there. I think there needs to be attention played to Tottenham. Tottenham can make some noise. And although I don't think that they're real title contenders, Aston Villa are very interesting. I'll put it that way, right? Like they're playing extremely good football. They have 3 games in hand, right?
Yeah.
And so if they win all those games, they're like literally right up there with everybody else. I do think though, like when we're talking about serious contenders, Man City, Liverpool, Manchester United, and Spurs on the periphery. I think a lot is going to depend on what happens when Liverpool play Manchester City. That's going to be a big one.
Where is this one going to be actually? I don't remember. Where was the first leg?
The first leg, I believe, was in Manchester. So
the
second one is going to be at Anfield.
Okay.
If Man City wins that, the league is theirs. If we pull that one back, it's going to be interesting. I think us two are probably the prime favorites, followed by Manchester United and Spurs.
Okay. Chuky, what are your thoughts?
Well, for the title race, this league is just I don't know. I don't know that you can use any traditional thought process to kind of figure out what's going to go on in this league this season. The three heavy teams there, like to the three horses to me, is like United, City, and Liverpool. Three of them have the same issue, right? There's no real way to project where the goals are coming from those three teams. Two of those teams are great possession teams and passing teams, like Liverpool and Manchester City. United's an impact team, right? They are like very robust. They're United is great at a lot of things, apart from the highly technical things like passing, making good decisions in the final third, stuff like that. So you have to kind of weigh, let's go back to boxing, I'll say, yeah. In this analogy, I'll think United is like a Rocky, very resilient, like not the best fighter, right? But doesn't know how to stay down, like never out of the game.
That's a good
one. But you always have to give it to the people that know how to do it. City they know how to do it. They know how to win. They've been there before, so they don't have a mentality test to go past. United does have a big mentality test. Liverpool, you guys just over the last 2 seasons, you've kind of jumped those mentality hurdles. In fact, they normally talk about Liverpool as being the mentality monsters. But there's a sag in Liverpool. There's something going on there. I think it could just be natural decay. It happens. It's the manager hasn't changed. The players, for the most part, haven't changed. In fact, they've even added like a world-class talent like Thiago. Just when it's time for the exhaust to let out.
Okay.
So if I was a betting man, I'll bet on City, but I will never rule out Liverpool or United. It's going to be a very competitive season. That's good for us, the fans.
Correct, exactly, because we've not seen this in a while. And I agree with everything both of you say. I think it's going to be 3-way again. Like you said, Spurs on the outside fair. I feel like Spurs this season will be the spoilers. Literally, like anybody who can beat Spurs in the second leg of the games, because my thought process is this season is going to be about the big games. I absolutely believe that it's going to be about the big games this season.
I don't know. When you have things like Southampton, West Ham, who else? Everton. There's so many good average teams.
Yes,
I don't mean to insult them. I'm not saying the also Rans. They're not just also Rans and they are way out there. They're also Rans. They're right at the edge.
Correct.
I don't know. I don't know. It's about beating your big rival. I think it's really beating the ones around you.
I agree with you. This is what I mean. I feel like each team will have the shock results against them. Like we had our own mostly earlier in the season. We've drawn with Leicester. Liverpool have dropped points at Newcastle. We've dropped points with West Brom. City have dropped points. Like I feel like those big games, meaning the games against each other.
I see. Yeah. I understand. Yes. Yeah. After you've dropped points, those right.
Yes. Well, I don't think so. This is what I think. I actually think Man City, Manchester United, and Liverpool, especially when Liverpool get Jota back. Yeah. And I think Liverpool's buy a defender, or maybe they've talked about this. And I was talking to somebody about this. Like maybe Liverpool have talked about this internally. Like, hey, if we don't win the league this season, it's fine. We don't want to invest in the center back, because I feel like they have. Klopp is not stupid. I know that this guy is I think he's a brilliant manager. He's not stupid. They've talked about it with the management. Like if we don't get a center back, this is what could happen, right? So I think okay with that. But that's what I think anyway.
That is the biggest issue with my team right now. Like we talk about being spoiled and stuff like that. I don't think that is necessarily. It's not the issue that the team is being spoiled, but our team ownership isn't the one. They're not the ones to invest big into our team. Like any other team, because Manchester United right now, Manchester City, they'll be buying a center back during this winter break. We're not going to invest into a center back, which is a problem. It drives the fans crazy, and we have to put stopgaps in it to, to fix these issues.
I mean,
and that could be our biggest detriment right now. Like,
yeah, I think it is personally. I just wanted to hear your thoughts. I think it's a personal problem. I was talking to this. I think it's a personal
let's call it COVID finances is going to play a big part. It's
Yeah.
one thing last year when people thought, okay, people were really optimistic about, vaccines coming out, and they took gambles and, spending money. Now, when lockdowns are not going anywhere yet, not in Europe, not in, this side of the shore. So I think people are a little bit more, will be a little bit more slow to spend. I know United is not going to spend a dime in this window, and they probably shouldn't. They probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know with COVID. The vaccination dispersion is not going as planned. For a community to get the right immunity against this virus, you're probably talking about 75 to 80% of the population getting vaccinated. It's just not going to happen. So if they are slow to, they want to keep their powder dry as far as spending finance, is a fiscally responsible thing to do. Fans can't be at home and talk about, oh, you need to spend. I mean, they have to, at the end of the day, they have to balance books to make it make sense.
There's a business to run.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I forgot to mention. I think Shaw was actually, man of the match. I think it was immense in this.
Yeah, Shaw was very good.
I think it was.
I'll pick Maguire over him though. Still.
Yeah, but Maguire to me was very good. He made some blocks. I think him and Lindelof were good actors. They made some decisive blocks and tackles.
Because
your back line was really good today. They played. They got support from the midfield as well. Like the whole defensive unit of Manchester United was really good today. You guys played well.
But my issue with Shaw is, and it's always depends on the bar you're trying to measure. I mean, he was good in the very aggressive defending stuff, but when you kind of juxtapose between Robertson and Arnold, they were delivering balls they were like, it's like having two Beckhams on each side, right? Right. So, and when Shaw gets up there, it doesn't really. I mean, there's one thing. The one thing he did that where he passed the ball to Fernandez, but that's about it. You don't get that much from him. Even AW on the other side. I'm not kind of focusing on Shaw. Just United, our fullbacks are not. They're not. These things are not equal together when it comes to stylistically.
But that's part of the point I was trying to make really earlier today. Like Manchester United really didn't have much of an offensive presence throughout the whole duration of the game. There were instances where, okay, finally, like our back line broke down or whatever, and then Fernandez got a shot on target, Pogba got a shot on target, but Manchester United weren't really an offensive threat.
So, but that doesn't matter. That's the choice. It's a game of energies. One team is using their energy to keep possession and put the passes in and do like a shock and awe bombardment. The other team is using the energy all together differently. They're using it to hunker down and wait for their chances, being more efficient.
But to that point, you can't criticize Shaw for doing what he did then.
So no. I know there's no criticism of Shaw. I'm just saying the only reason why I'm defaulting to Maguire as the man of the match is I'm trying to compare, like kind of like for like. I think Maguire. I think Maguire. Lindelof was great. Everybody, like you said, all four of them plus the goalkeeper were really, really good today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I just felt like Shaw played solid in defense.
He was wonderful. Shaw was wonderful.
He did what he was supposed to do. Like he wasn't. I wasn't expecting him to be up the field, putting pressure on the Liverpool back line like Maguire or Robertson. That was not his job for today. Yeah. And that's why, like, overall, like, I think, like, Manchester United fans can walk away from this game relatively optimistic. As a Liverpool fan walking from this game, we're very disappointed. We're disappointed because of what we felt we could have done because of the control of the game. I don't feel like, and we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that. And we're not going to see eye to eye.
This is very simple. I think we live in contrite times. A lot of Manchester United fans around the world will leave their pubs, their homes, or wherever and think, wow, we should have won this game. I mean, it was there. Regardless of how sunken we are, regardless of the low block, I mean, people, I mean, even you could see the managers, if you watch the managers, Oli was like, wow. I mean, you could tell he was like under the mood. Like he wasn't excited that he left with a 0-0 draw. Like this wasn't exciting for a United fan.
Yeah.
I thought we had a chance to win. And that's the difference in the tie. I think Liverpool made a lot of noise without actually, you know, they huffed and puffed, but he couldn't blow the house down. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I
see, man, it's tough.
I'm somewhere in between both of
you.
I'm somewhere in between both of you in the sense that I see where you put, like, we had the big chances, so we should have taken them if we were clinical. But I'm also the opinion also is like Liverpool were the ones forcing the issue.
Correct, but they are home.
Forcing the issue, and there were periods, especially like I said, first 20 minutes we were sunk on low block, and we were just dependent on things that are luck driven, making blocks, because the wrong block, it deflects inside the net, the game changes entirely.
Yeah.
So putting a game on that, like, oh, we're just going to be so deep, and we're going to constantly make blocks. Yeah, it could go your way today. Like if you play that game 6 times, I'm pretty sure we lose that game. It does that first 20 minutes, we lose that game.
Well, you don't know.
Blocks goes into net, game, it changes the game entirely. So I see where you're coming from, but Chuky is right. We had the big chances. If you look at this game in isolation, we had the big chances, and you know we had Kane, or the clinical people you can think of, the Kanes, the Sons, the Agueros. They buried one of those two, and we're talking of a different game entirely.
Just anybody with confidence, and this is both sides. Liverpool didn't have anyone like with big confidence, really. I don't know what's up with Salah, to be fair. I don't, it could be he's at the end of the rope when it comes to Liverpool. I've told players are not Giggs or Scholes or Gerrards anymore. These are great players. They're going to have to go somewhere else. I mean, there's no way that Salah stays at Liverpool.
I disagree with that statement. If he leaves, it's not because he can't go anywhere else. Like that statement, I disagree with.
It's because of money.
You can look at all the other teams. You can look at all the other teams in Europe right now, and there's probably.
I mean, what will keep him there? He's not from Liverpool. His grandmother is not from Liverpool. I mean, he's not like Rashford. That is, he's a Mancunia or Lingard.
There's no other place to play in Europe right now outside of Liverpool. Like Liverpool, like the most attractive places to play right now. Liverpool, Manchester City, obviously. Look at Barcelona. We're about to lose one to Barcelona, but Barcelona right now, they're in a shell of themselves. Juventus aren't doing so well in their league either. Like
nobody wants to go to
for money. Then that's the thing. My team is cheap. We don't want to pay. Yeah. We're paying Wijnaldum $75,000. Like people are going to go out and chase money.
Here's the thing.
We have 6 minutes left. I want to get there.
Just one last thing on that Liverpool thing. Look, I understand this. I recognize this. It's called blinders. Look, if Mbappe, Neymar, Haaland, all the apex young talent, I'm not talking about people in Thiago's age range that are just looking for a matured setup where they don't have to do too much to maybe get pad their resume, right? I'm talking about the elite apex young talent where you see them hungry, forcing their agent to make a move to your team, then make that statement, right? Make that statement that there are too many teams out there, too many teams.
Okay. I know Bola didn't like that. That was a shot on his ego. Okay, so let's start with you. Give us weekly awards. Kudos for the week. Donkey of the week. What's your award?
I'm just going to focus on Liverpool right now. Kudos of the week goes to Fabinho. Love what he's doing in centre back.
Wonderful player.
Donkey. Is it Donkey of the week or is that a different show? Trent Alexander-Arnold losing the ball 38 times in 77 minutes.
Okay, the last
earlier. I love the guy. COVID. They're saying he's having COVID issues. I don't know. But yeah, for this week, I love him, but he's going to have to get that award.
Okay. Sounds good. Chuky, who gets yours?
Okay, so I guess I stick to my team. I guess that's probably fair to just stick to your team.
Yeah.
Donkey, for the week. Geez, I don't know for the week. Let's just say for the day. I don't know for the week. Sorry.
You can choose a day. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, donkey for the week day is Rashford. I don't understand how a player is offside in a corner phase when you're playing a corner. Why are you offside, man? You're offside the entire game. Then you're offside for a corner. Really, Rashford? Then look, young player, selfish. He's now one of the highest projected. Blah blah blah. I get it. You want FIFA to increase your ratings in their icon thing. Do a reverse pass to Cavani because he's a United player too, and he's probably in a better position, make better decisions than Rashford. So donkey for the day is Rashford for me. Fred, a close second. Fred, I don't know who showed up in Fred's. I think Oli told him to go out to destroy, but I'm sure Oli didn't tell him to, totally forget how to progress the ball forward in a positive way. So where Rashford for me. What's the other award? That was donkey. That was
Kudos.
easy. Kudos. Let's say Shaw. Kudos to Shaw. For manning up. It was a difficult game. He stood there. The person he was supposed to guard is not. Everybody knows his name. His name is Salah. And when Salah crawls out of Shaw's pocket, then maybe he gives Shaw kudos as well.
I'm surprised you said Rashford, man. Like Rashford should be exempt because of his citizenship and his exemplary.
I think that might be going to his head.
Okay.
Yeah, that he's a good player, but I've seen kind of a little decision making. I don't know. Is it me or
no? You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Okay,
you're not wrong. My kudos. Since we have 2 minutes left, let me run through mine. My kudos are 2 people. Some is my bias, but some is just because he gets too much stick, and when he's playing well, it's silence. I'm hearing nobody's Lapioche, Paul Labile, Pogba. The last 1 month,
he was average today, but okay.
He's playing very well. He has played very, very, very well. I think he played well today. He was playing out of position. They played him on the right. I didn't understand what that was about, but
because there's no one else
in his pocket.
You said what? You said what?
He was in Henderson's pocket.
It wasn't. The goal last week. He scored a fantastic goal. That volley last week. That technical ability. Very few players can do that. Yeah. He gets it because again, like I said, I'm giving it because a lot of
it was a deflected goal, but yeah, he's been playing really good.
Yeah, he gets it for me. Donkey of the week. Wow, I need to think of this one very well. Who gets my donkey of the week? Donkey of the day. Let me use that. Bruno has been transformational. I give it transformational. I give it to you. But I think constructive criticism is fair. Today, and he has been this a lot in big games. He needs to understand. I get the whole principle of Bruno. High risk, high reward, forces try risky passes. In big games sometimes. You are playing against elite people like your people. So just keep possession and keep it simple. Sometimes you don't need to force it every time. So that's why he gets it just for the day. But yeah, he's transformational. I have to put that out there before people clip it and say, Ayo says Bruno is a donkey and come back and get me.
Well, United's pass success today was 73%. That's really low.
Yeah, it was.
Really low.
Let me wrap it up so that it doesn't cut off. Thank you all, guys. Check us out. You can find us at the end of the pod. Thank you guys for coming. Okay.
Thank you.